We live in a world where power trumps wisdom. A bullet from a gun will always beat a thought from a brain. Whilst I think it's very obvious in this day and age, it's always been thus, hasn't it? Forever. Brawn over brain. Whilst I've been thinking about this topic for some time, and I'm in the middle of making a much longer video about all of this, recent news is something I want to address regarding someone in the sort of realm that I'm interested in, the whole, well, for want of a better word, midlife crisis market. Peter Attia is someone that I've mentioned many times in my videos, somebody whose books and podcasts I've read and watched and pored over for a long time, and obviously recent revelations regarding him and a certain set of files kind of throw a little bit of shadow or doubt, not just on what he says, I'm not sure there's particularly much shade on that, but more his kind of moral compass and his whys and wherefores. And I think really that's what I want to address in this video, because I think it's incredibly nuanced, as is everything, right? The TLDR portion of this video really is that, would any of us survive scrutiny if our emails and WhatsApps and texts were hacked for whatever reason? It's just that most of us are never in a position where we're important enough to kind of have that happen. Or, in the case of Peter Attia, in my feelings, the person that he's associated with. Now, I'm not here to make any judgment about anybody whatsoever. I'm going to talk about my sort of own experiences and thoughts on this, but I think humans are very quick to pull down those people with power and influence, because it means, first of all, there's no scrutiny on them, but also it means there's space further up the tribe for them. So first of all, morally, there are some black and white lines. There are some thresholds that you just don't go over. I think we can all agree on that. There is right and there is wrong. But there's a morally grey area in the middle that we've all been in, all of us have, without any shadow of a doubt. Let's say, for example, you did become famous, an influencer, associated with somebody who was hacked. Whoa, that was a close one, right? Every time something happens on these runs, and I bet any communications that you had with people were pulled up for whatever reason, legally or through hacking, I bet most of them you wouldn't even have thought about, because the circumstance and the people cloud your judgment on stuff. It's perfectly natural and human. But I think we can all put ourselves in the shoes of those people that have been caught out in that morally grey area. And I can say hand on heart, absolutely, not that I can think of anything off the top of my head, but I know that I've been influenced by people that are more powerful than me, or in the record industry, or that I've been working with, where tribally I've wanted to belong. And I think this is the danger, isn't it? We all want to get into a tribe, we all want to fit in, and then when we've done that, we want to get ahead. It's safer there, further up the tree. We put ourselves in a position where we kind of side with the people with more power. Not that I've got any interest in working my way up at the uni. I've done the same job for 18 years because I want to get really good at that. I don't think I'd be any good in any area above me because of how I feel. And maybe I'm lucky that I haven't got any interest in money or power or influence, just in my own wisdom. And that brings me back to my opening statement, doesn't it? People with power and influence can corrupt wisdom. And it's very easy in hindsight to look back on communications with certain people with 20/20 vision and know that what you said or whatever is wrong because you have more knowledge. That's wisdom, right? So it's really difficult to know what is right sometimes. Sometimes it's easy, it's black and white. Sometimes it's grey. Maybe something gets said in a meeting, or something gets said in the WhatsApp group that, you know, sits right in that grey area, and you're too fearful to say, oh, I'm going to go down the bike track, I'm going to fall over. You're too fearful of being cast out of that group for saying something that isn't, you know, usually said by somebody that's more powerful in the group. Isn't that right? It's always somebody higher up the tree in a team, or, you know, your friendship group or whatever, that says the outrageous things that people below kind of laugh and agree with, where deep down, morally, it's a little bit in the grey area. Somebody says something that's black and white over the threshold, it might actually get called out. It's really tricky. It's really tricky. And none of us will have the wisdom that we have tomorrow, or a week or a month's time, hopefully, but that is what we should be seeking over power and influence. I spoke to a CEO once who told me that they'd had no choice in making a round of redundancies, that was kind of what they had to do. And you know what? It's not true. What they weren't prepared to do was compromise their power and their authority and their income and their money to do what actually they knew was the right thing. They wouldn't have told me they didn't have a choice if they didn't know that it was the wrong choice, but they kind of dressed it up as having no choice. If this is a video about decisions, I'm beginning to regret this one. Oh, that's it, I'm done. I told you I was going to fall over, and there it is, and it may not be the only time I've gone over. I actually know where I am. And because we want that space at the top of the tribe for others, the people below are always going to be looking for ways of taking down the people above them. So really, you kind of only have one choice, don't you? Which is, do I go right, make a bad decision, and kind of side with the people that are more powerful at the moment, or do I seek wisdom in this and go left? I know which one I'll always choose, because I think it's a case of putting your own gas mask on first, isn't it? I can't speak for other people. I know that I've got to get my own house in order, and maybe I'm lucky that I come to this later on in life because I can make that moral judgment that I don't know it all. I don't know what's right and wrong, and I don't know which direction to go. I know I've gone the wrong way right now. I guess it's about knowing when to turn back. Yeah. Now it's time to turn back. And you know what? This is one hell of a hill I've got ahead of me now. But wisdom, morals, yeah, it's not supposed to be easy, is it? It's easy when the people above you make it easy for you, because you're essentially reinforcing what they morally think might be grey themselves. It becomes sycophantic, becomes an echo chamber. So this video isn't me saying it's easy. This video is me saying that it's really difficult, and it's nuanced, and it's very difficult because we're humans after all. And the things that we seek, that we need to survive, are actually power and influence and money. Because of the way this world works, wisdom holds no value. Really, you can't stop a bullet with a brain. What I'm saying is this: I don't actually have any interest in power or influence or money. I'm all right, thanks. Hence the reason why I'm still where I was getting on for 20 years ago, doing more or less the same things. But I'm enjoying them more, and I'm understanding them more. And for me, that is wealth. I'm more intelligent, I'm more wise than I was even 5 years ago, definitely 5 years ago. I'd definitely rather be financially bankrupt than morally bankrupt. And I can't say that I think that's the same for others. And that's not me making a judgment on them. As we said earlier, it's nuanced, isn't it? I made the right decision. I came up the hill. I went against where my brain wanted me to go. And I think I'm about to get paid off with some view. Oh yeah, check this out. Wow. Here you go. Look at that. As my drum teacher and kind of sensei to some extent, Steve White, always says, if you're going to stick the head above the parapet, people are going to shoot at you. But the point is, we all have ammo that's buried that we've forgotten about, that we all want to put our heads above the parapet. We want to be seen. We want to be at the top of that tree. It's tribally understandable. But ultimately, you know, is there ammo out there? And of course there is for everybody. So what can you do about it? Well, only one thing really. It's to seek wisdom over anything else. Seek wisdom over money, or influence, or power, whatever it might be. I think actually it's easier. I'll put my own gas mask on first and try and make the best decisions I can, because I don't think I've made good ones in the past. But that might help me surround myself with people that feel the same and that are on the same kind of journey. And so far, so good. I hope. And who knows? Maybe this will be one of those videos that doesn't age very well. You know, suddenly a channel blows up and I end up on Chris Williamson's podcast or Andrew Huberman's, God forbid anything like that happens. But and then people start digging around and hacking my stuff and bringing up stuff that I said in a WhatsApp group a decade ago. What the hell am I doing and where am I? Should have stuck to the path, Hester, as ever. Gonna need both hands, so I'm putting you away. See you on the next video.